What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I'm over here getting my steps in. I'm over here by what's known as Harbor Town. I come over here a lot more when it's warm, but I'm waiting on my food to get ready. So, hey, we getting some steps in, and I'm gonna kick it with y'all for a bit. I seen there's a viral video going around right now. It's a guy. He's basically saying that if your wife has to work, you have failed as a man. And a lot of people got some very strong opinions about that. Some agree, a lot of people do not agree though. So I'll chime in. I'm gonna let this guy turn in. And what is this? A G6? Yeah, it's a G6. Dang, it got hit from the back pretty badly. Out here driving reckless, he might smack up again. But let's talk about this a bit. I'll just get right to the chase. I don't think that you have failed as a man if your wife works. I think it's better if your wife doesn't work, but I don't think you failed as a man if your wife works. Right now, everything's very expensive. You guys, you see me when I go to the grocery market to, get my food for the week, to make my very simple carnivore meals. I show you guys the prices that I pay for stuff like the pack of bacon that I like to get that used to be $5.99 is now $10.49. So, you guys see that things are pretty silly when it comes to expenses. The eggs that I like to buy, they're what? They're like $9.19 for 2 dozen. So things have gotten really damn silly. They really have. So when you got expenses like that, everything is just so much more expensive than it used to be. Gas is still high. I mean, I've seen gas be $3 to $3.50 in some areas still. California, I don't know what it is right now, but Cali is always a few bucks more than it is here. Things are just expensive, and a lot of people need a 2-income household in order to survive, especially if they got children. So I think the guy there, I don't think he was like trying to be insulting, but he did sound a bit ignorant because he's not taking those things into account. I mean, you can jump on this soapbox preaching about men being providers, and men are supposed to be providers, men are supposed to be protectors. No one is denying that, but you can't take your life and your circumstances and use them as the gauge for how other people should move. And if they don't meet the standard that you have set for them, they're failures. You can't set a standard for how other people should live. So we got to get out of that sort of thinking. Me personally, I think it's preferential for your wife not to work. If you have a wife at home, there are many benefits to it, but you have to be able to afford to have her at home, but your bed is going to be made, your clothes are going to be washed, your meals are going to be made, kids are going to be tucked in. These are benefits. Your wife, your children are being raised by her and by you, but you're gone a lot. But you get what I'm saying. Strangers are not raising your children. So that's an extreme benefit, but only if you can afford it. Now, me personally, I think that if you're going to do the 2-income household, do it only as long as you need to. Set that up to where you can, retire her basically. However way that looks like, it's different for people. I'm not going to give you a template. You're going to have to figure it out because my template may work for me, but it may not work for you. So you have to figure that out for yourself. And that's even if you want to follow this. So you figure out what that looks like. What do you have to do? How much do you have to earn? What do you have to put aside? What investments do you need to make over 3, 4, 5 years to where you can have your wife at home instead of working? Because if you're making $150K a year, your wife being at home, and you don't have to worry about these sort of things, you can end up making 200, 250, possibly even 300K, just depending on what you have going on. That potential is there. You might think, oh, that's kind of, large. It's really not, depending on how you move and depending on how you planning. This is very achievable. Not everybody is going to be able to do that, though. Not everybody has the know-how or overall just the drive and work ethic to do that. Everybody can't be a multimillionaire. Not everybody is going to make it. Some people just are content living average lives, making average money, and that's okay. So we're not going to shame people for just wanting to live average lives if that's what makes them happy. So I disagree with you're a failure if your wife works. I think that's a really immature way to look at real life. I think it's it's just not really that reasonable. So I say it's beneficial to get your wife out of the workforce as soon as possible, but that's me. Because there's just plenty of other things that could come along with your wife working. Let's say your wife is working with some guy, she's his secretary. I honestly think it's better to have your wife at home, and now you're in a position to make 50 to 100K more a year than it is to send her to be some jerk off's, personal assistant for 30K a year. All the while, she's looking at this guy that makes more money than you, and she's like working hand in hand with him 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours daily. Something is bound to happen. And I'm not saying be fearful, be insecure about this. I'm just simply saying that you must understand that a lot of times when women cheat in the workplace, who is it with? It's the boss. But if she's not there being some jerk-off's personal assistant, it's less likely for that to happen. So that's one reason. There's plenty others, but I know that that's one thing that I can throw out there that you guys will immediately be able to identify with. We see these stories all the time. We see, last year we saw footballers, wives cheating with pastors and stuff. I mean, they're around these other men a lot, so something's bound to happen. So, that's basically, in a nutshell, what I think about it. I don't think a man is a failure because his wife has to work. You got some women, they want to work. That's a whole different thing for a different video. Yeah. I'll touch on that in a different video. You got a woman that she wants to have her own money and that sort of stuff. Now, there's pros and cons to that. So I'm not going to sit here and say that that's a bad thing, but there's a way to go about it to where no goofy stuff happens behind it. But I'm going to leave it there, y'all. I'm going to keep it stepping. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.